A few months ago, I completely fell out of love with myself. I think from the outside, my life looked really good. I had a good job, I had money in the bank, and a good city life, but on the inside, my world was crumbling all around me. I had put my self-worth into things that could be taken away from me overnight, and when they were, I realized how volatile and unstable my foundation really was. In this video, I want to talk about how I'm cleaning up and relearning to love myself. If you're new here, my name is Andrew. Welcome to the channel. Good boy. You want to say something? No, don't lick that. You want to be a part of the video? I love you. So it was only a few years ago that I was full of life and energy, passion, and ambition. I had massive dreams for myself. I wanted to move out of Seattle and start my own software company, become an entrepreneur, build wealth, get jacked, and so on. I felt unstoppable at the time. But it only took one stroke of bad luck to completely change everything. My identity imploded on itself, and the love I held for myself was completely fractured. I realized my confidence was built on a pyramid of sand, and when the foundation crumbled, I completely lost track of who I was. So in my early childhood days, I definitely carried around an inferiority complex, and I used to be ashamed of who I was. I was definitely a nerd at heart, and I loved stuff like video games and Star Wars and cinema and technology. I was also an overweight kid, and I grew up in a very poor family, and I did go to private school though. And I remember looking around at all the other kids around me and just thinking how much better off they were than me. I felt like all their families had nice cars and boats and big houses and that sort of thing. But everything changed for me when I went to college and moved out of my small town to the big city of Seattle. I grew up, became an adult, and after graduating, I landed a really good tech job. And at this point, I definitely swung into a superiority complex. I started chasing money, validation, and a version of myself I thought would finally be good enough. So everything just happened to be going right for me, and the confidence I had and the vision for my life greatly expanded. But as the years went on, I got really comfortable with where I was. My internal voice would tell me to follow my vision, and I kept telling myself, oh, I'll just, start tomorrow, kind of waiting for the motivation to come to me. But newsflash, it never really did. I slowly stopped listening to what I knew I should do, and I just started stagnating. I realized if you stop listening to your internal voice, in a sense, you're lying to yourself, kind of making promises about what you want to do or what you're going to do, but never taking action. And this caused cognitive dissonance, and slowly over time, I just started losing respect and trust in myself. So by this time, I had put nearly all of my self-worth and identity in 3 different things: the gym, work, and approval from women, which is highly volatile. And when severe injury and heartbreak and failure kind of struck me all at the same time, I completely lost track of who I was. I didn't even recognize the man that I saw in the mirror, and I fell into a deep depression. So when everything fell apart, I realized the first step wasn't trying to fix myself. The first step was letting go. Letting go of who I thought I needed to be. Letting go of the shame I've carried since I was a kid. Letting go of the old version of me that relied entirely upon results and approval. So I fully accepted myself for exactly where I was and for exactly who I had become. I realized I didn't need the gym or approval from women or money to prove that I'm worthy. Those things never define my worth. Instead, I realized my worth needs to come from within. I reminded myself that my unique skills and interests and passions and thoughts and life story are exactly what makes me unique. And I'm not living anyone else's life except my own. And it's my responsibility to live it fully and authentically to my own desire. And I've learned that anyone who doesn't want to be a part of my life isn't proof that I'm not good enough in some sort of way. Instead, it's just making space for the right people to enter my life. And that mindset shift allowed me to stop clinging and stop trying to prove my worth. Instead, I recognize it and keep living in full alignment with who I am. I realized the victim mindset I had got me absolutely nowhere. I learned that life happens for me, not to me. And I do believe everything happens for a reason. And I believe life was trying to wake me up and tell me, hey, you need to change how you see yourself. And it was up to me to pick myself up and love myself enough to want to change and start taking action. What I've come to learn is that self-love isn't just a mindset. It's a choice you need to make every single day. It means treating yourself with the same respect you'd treat a close friend. It means choosing to eat healthy, resting when you need it, setting boundaries, and removing yourself from all situations that don't serve you. That's not selfish. That's just what self-love means. It also means sacrificing short-term pleasure for long-term gain. It means doing that thing you've been procrastinating for a long time. Talking to the girl at the gym even though you feel anxious, and showing yourself you're capable of far more than fear wants you to believe. And most importantly, it's completely redefining failure. I don't see failure as me not being good enough anymore. Instead, it's just feedback, or a teacher, so to speak. Every failure is just another step towards the goal. I've realized that self-love and gratitude are actually deeply connected. You know what they say, comparison is the thief of joy. And when I stop comparing myself to other people, I start seeing what I already have. My health, my family, my faith, a roof over my head, and loving myself just feels a lot more natural. So it's no longer about being enough by someone else's standard, but instead being present with what I've been given and still striving for more. So I want to conclude this video by saying we're all on our own path in this life. And wherever you find yourself today, I want you to know that it's okay. I definitely don't have all the answers, but I'm learning so much every day. And one thing I always say is your perception is your reality. And changing your perception changes your reality. So you don't need to wait for the perfect moment. And you definitely don't need to prove or earn your worth. You already are enough. So start small, show up anyway, and believe in yourself again. And watch how everything begins to change. Hey, I really appreciate you for watching and listening. If this resonated with you, let me know in the comments down below. I'd love to hear from you about what you're learning about loving yourself too. As always, drop a like for the algorithm, subscribe for more, and I'll catch you in the next one. God bless.